Welcome back to our show. My name's Tyler Quinn. As we begin our next round of debates here, we have AJ Feldman and Matt Nettie, and they're going to discuss whether a hot dog is actually a sandwich or not. Now, they can discuss any criteria, but we will let them begin, and they can bring in any analogies they want, but we're going to begin with AJ. AJ, what do you think? Is a hot dog a sandwich or not?
Well, my biggest argument is the "it's just not" argument. No one has ever called a hot dog a sandwich before, and until recent years, a hot dog has been a hot dog, because that's what it is, a hot dog. It's not a sandwich. I don't know what people are talking about here.
So, Matt, how do you respond to that? I mean, a lot of people do classify hot dog just as a hot dog, and would you classify it as a sandwich?
Couldn't disagree more with AJ. If you look up sandwich definition in the dictionary, it says it has to be in between two pieces of bread. A hot dog is in between two pieces of bread, aka a hot dog bun. So, just by definition alone, hot dog is a sandwich, and in my opinion, the best sandwich out there.
Wow, some strong logic from Matt there. AJ, how do you respond to that in terms of the logic? I mean, you know, the sandwich is in between two pieces of bread.
Well, first of all, it's just one piece of bread that's cut, so that's a flaw in your argument right there. And second of all, there are more things to a sandwich than just having two pieces of bread. Name another type of sandwich that you can only hold one certain way. If you got like chili or a relish or something on that sandwich, you can only hold it vertically up and down, depending on your orientation, the way you want to look at it. But a hot dog, it's not a sandwich. If someone were to ask you to make a sandwich, you would never make them a hot dog.
You bring up the argument that because it's in a bun or just one piece of bread that it is not a sandwich, but what about a sub? A sub roll is technically just one piece of sandwich, but the inside is in between two pieces of the sub roll. So is a sub all of a sudden not a sandwich? Are we in America anymore?
Strong point,
No,
Matt.
a sub is a sandwich because it's a sandwich. I'm just saying if your definition of a sandwich is has to have two pieces of bread, you've clearly just disproven your main argument, so I don't know what you're talking about right now.
If a sub is a sandwich, then a hot dog is a sandwich. If a hot dog is not a sandwich, then a sub is not a sandwich. You can't have it both ways. It has to be either or. So tell me, is a sub a sandwich? If you answer yes, then you're basically answering a hot dog is also a sandwich.
No, I'm not, because you can take a hot dog out of the bun and it can still be a hot dog. You can't take out, you're not just going to eat like a variety of deli meats and call that a sub. No, it's a hot dog. Or excuse me, it's nothing. It's a pile of food.
All right, I'm going to intervene here. There was once a story about how the hot dog actually came to be. It was because in Germany they put the wiener dog in the two sides of the buns, and they called them hot reds, and it turned into hot dog. And come get your hot dog at Boston Red Sox games. Would you still classify it as a sandwich given that story, or would you not?
I think the German people were onto something, and that was the greatest invention of a sandwich of all time. No one debates whether hot dogs are America's food, and in my opinion, they're America's sandwich as well.
Well, you say America's food like the hot dog eating contest. We don't call it the hot dog sandwich eating contest. Have you ever heard it called that before? And I just want to point out this one thing. There is a such thing as a National Hot Dog and Sausage, it's an organization, and they have declared that a hot dog is not a sandwich. So I'm not going to argue with the experts.
We don't care what the committee calls it. We want to know what the people of America call it.
And they don't call it a sandwich.
And they call it a sandwich.
No, they don't.
By definition alone, a hot dog is a sandwich.
Is a cheesesteak a sandwich because it is meat in between
Great
two
point there. A
like
cheesesteak you would consider is part of a sub, which is also a sub part of a sandwich, but you don't call a Philly cheesesteak a Philly cheesesteak.
Okay, well, we unfortunately got to wrap
Yes,
it up.
you do.
Hot dog is definitely a sandwich, guys. All right, this has been great. When we come back, we're going to talk about whether breakfast or lunch or dinner is the best meal of the day. Stick with us. Hello and welcome back to the studio. I'm Tyler Quinn. We are joined today by AJ Feldman and Matt Nettie as they are going to debate the very illustrious, the very controversial, and the very trendy debate of whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not. AJ, we're going to start with you. You can put in any criteria and any sort of analogy, but why don't you hit us off first?
Well, I just have to say that it's just not. That's the biggest argument. No one has ever called a hot dog a sandwich. So by default, it's not a sandwich. This is a convoluted argument in the past year or so, and it's just ludicrous. It's not a sandwich.
Well, Matt, what do you think? What do you say in response to that?
How did I know AJ was going to come up with this complete nonsense? If you look up the definition of sandwich, it is contents in between two pieces of bread or a roll or bun, which is exactly what a hot dog is. By definition, a
That's
hot dog is a
strong point.
sandwich.
Strong point by Matthew. AJ, what do you have to say to that?
Well, picture this scenario. You walk into a restaurant, a deli store. If you were to try and order a hot dog, it would not be under the category of sandwiches. It would be under the category of hot dogs, because that's what hot dogs are. They're just hot dogs. That's simply put. It's not a sandwich. You've never called a hot dog a sandwich before in your entire life.
That's a strong point by AJ. Matthew, are there any other sort of sandwiches like a hot dog that you would still consider a sandwich, even though it's categorized in its own name?
Well, I went with the sub analogy. A lot of people that say a hot dog is not a sandwich because it is in a bun obviously have never eaten a sub, because a sub is in a sub roll. Clearly a sandwich. A Philly cheesesteak is a sandwich, but no one says, hey, can I get a Philly cheesesteak sandwich? No, that doesn't happen, but just because people don't say it doesn't mean it isn't definitionally true.
Well, AJ, those are some very strong points by Matt. What do you say to that? Because, you know, he just kind of squashed the whole point about it not being classified as a sandwich.
Well, no, he hasn't, because if you were to look under, like, go to a deli shop, under sandwiches, there's going to be Philly cheesesteak. There isn't a giant big banner that says Philly cheesesteaks.
We take the Merriam-Webster dictionary more than just a deli,
well, hold up,
deli
Matt.
store.
I doubt
They
that's actually the
classify it.
definition of a sandwich.
AJ,
Let me look that point.
Hold up. AJ, do you think a cheesesteak is a sandwich, or do you not?
I do think it is.
Why do you think a cheesesteak is a
Why
sandwich?
do you think it is a
Another thing
sandwich?
to consider is if you take the contents out of the bun or the roll, you can still eat a hot dog, because
You
it's
can
just
still
a
eat a
hot
Philly
dog.
cheesesteak if you
That's
take it out
that's
of the
a
roll.
fair point.
I love steak. I love cheese. Take it out of the roll. I'll still eat it. I'll still eat a hot dog if you take it out of the bun. So if you say a Philly cheesesteak is a sandwich, you're basically saying, I also think a hot dog is a sandwich, based on the same logic.
No, because if you're eating a pile of steak and cheese, you're not saying you're eating a Philly cheesesteak. A key component of the Philly cheesesteak sandwich is the bun. That's not the case for a hot dog, because it's just a hot dog.
Well, I will have to intervene with this little anecdote right here. Basically, a hot dog became a hot dog because of the wiener dog. This German man basically was selling these wiener dogs, and he was calling them red dogs. And basically, those red dogs turned into hot dogs. Come get your hot dogs at Fenway Park. Now, does that change it at all for you guys in the classification of whether a hot dog is a sandwich or
That
not?
man was on to something, and that something was the greatest sandwich America has ever seen. He knew something clearly before we all did, and I think his vision was, I'm going to create the best sandwich this country's ever seen.
His idea was, I'm going to make a hot dog, because that's all a hot dog is. It's a hot dog.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you all for the debate. I don't know which answer. I really can't say which one. You guys had some very, very strong points. When we come back into the studio, we will have a debate between whether you think lunch, dinner, or breakfast is the best meal of the day. Stay with us.